here we go. I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah, so I'm going to go through that. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do the intro here, go through this part. The app is built from the Milestone 3 notebook workflow. It does not send the source directly into an image model. As a loose prompt, it first creates a JSON plan, defines the content layout, required claims, observer checklist, and then it goes into that 6-panel structure so that it can make a reproducible image. The image prompt is then built from that plan. Generated infographics and observer reviews must still be checked by a human, just talking about, especially for like safety related stuff and like instructional booklets and stuff, how to use a defibrillator. Yeah, of course. AI models hallucinate. That is good to keep in mind. They are not perfect. By design, they do hallucinate. So it's good to keep in mind. And then there's a little explanation of how to use this app, but I'm going to be showing you because I made it and I understand how to use it. But the best method is to paste text or use a sample. Works. All of my samples do work, so that is good. And then we have a little drop down where you can select a little place that you can put your source into. It has some little features that that give you the characters used in it, which is cool. It's nice. And then generation progress. This is a very cool thing because at first I didn't understand, or I didn't know if the generation was running and where it was at in its run. And I was like, oh, has it given up? Because it takes a while. It takes at least 5 minutes. It takes long enough for me to do a presentation in the middle of it running. So I made this where it will go through and it uses the emojis as check marks, and it has like a little running sign to see where you're at in the pipeline of your infographic being generated, and then it'll give you your results. And it's great. The source comes and then it gives you a little summary here, and you can also view the JSON plan, which is extremely detailed and is one of the blessings of generative AI is that they will go through and label every little thing, and it's great. It really it's really amazing. So as much detail as is in the initial source material, you will get in your output. So that's an important thing to look at. That's a very good thing. And then moving on to what the outputs are, you see that in this version we did the 8-person tent, which is very cool. I wish I had an 8-person tent. I have all my friends staying in it. And you can see here, I did the vertical option. I'll explore that more later. And you can zoom in and take a look around, look at all the things that were listed in the initial instructions. And this is the first generation, so you can see there are features in this that might be removed. So if you like this style, you can download this style because there's good things about it, and there's a checklist. There is a checklist that you can look into of what the observer did and did not like about this version. And then it goes over to the next version. It goes over here, it changes things, it changes trivial things. Honestly, it changes style, it changes how it outlines things. That part is not foolproof. I think it's one of the improvements that I would want to make in a further version of this, but for this current version, I am making just improvements about making a structured 6-panel reproducible structure that uses the text abilities in ChatGPT image generation 2, which is extremely good. Every single generation, literally without a doubt, has perfect text, especially because of the way it's structured in this. It doesn't have like images and background and lots of different things going on. It's an infographic, so it's a very simple output style that can be reproduced in this way that is good. And if it does have that, issue. The observer model should pick it up because the observer comparison looks at these things, and in this version it was very close, minimal changes across the thing. So in this version it might not have been the best idea to make a second generation because that does cost more money, but it's important for the project. That's what the project is doing. It is structured to make 2 of these and then show a comparison, which is a cool little thing to look at. Sometimes you need more generations, sometimes you only need the one. It's a case-by-case basis. And as if I was the owner of this app, people were using it, I could collect the data on that and make a report, do some sort of predictive analytics project on that. That would be very cool to see how often people want to do a regeneration, if people have the choice to do a regeneration, how an observer comparison overall compares to many different inputs and outputs. That would be very valuable. And it's just exported like this. Let's see, in the outputs. And you get to see the final report. Infographic, image prompt, prompt package, prompt plan, image prompt, observer review, JSON. So yeah, it gives it to you in a JSON form. Yeah, and then it just does these numbers, layout plan, revision directives. Let's get the info on that. And image prompt, that's just the prompt. You look at the prompt package. We can take a look at that. You get to see all of that. And yeah, and there you go. Review and final report. And then I think you really get to see more info in the final report. The final report is long. Yeah, it does the comparison. It uses the tiles in here, and yes, it gives you all of the saved artifacts from the specific project. It's a very organized overall plan. So yeah, and then you get to see the 6 panel format, which works very well. It always is very reliably making these 6 panels. So that is an excellent thing for the model to be doing reliably. And panel accuracy review, you get to see, yes, you get to see this. This is excellent. This is the panel accuracy review. This can be found, where can this be found at? Just wondering, I'm looking at the panel accuracy review, and I'm wondering where that information is stored at. It looks like it's in a JSON format. I'm wondering which of the files the panel accuracy review is stored. So I'll be able to say that in my presentation. I'll go to this part at the end and say, this is where this is, and it can be found here, and talk about it in the presentation. And then you have all your downloads here, and then you have a final report talking about everything, the directives, a final review. This is everything related to what you generated, and then in this, what my future directives for an app would include, and then talks about shows the things that are saved. So yeah, everything that you need in the project and more, and you have the app. So it all works great. And yeah, I'm gonna jump into the presentation now. Hello, this is Matthew Scarpello. And this is my Generative AI Milestone 4 video presentation. I wanted to do a video presentation because I feel like there's a lot of valuable content in my app, and I just want to walk through it and be able to explain my process and understanding of my current project and how it could evolve further, because I have a lot of ideas and I am thankful that this idea did work out quite well. So let's begin by getting going and running this project through Streamlit. Run, and we are on version 4 of this project. And yeah, we're locally hosting it, and let's dive right in. So I've decided to rename the project Infographic Genie after my professor gave me the suggestion that it's more of an infographic that I'm generating, which gave me the idea that the best way to make a reproducible app is to employ a little bit of structure and make it an infographic. So I will explain how it is made in a 6-panel way. The infographic is created using your source material. So let's get into the description right here. Infographic Genie reads source material. It creates a structured JSON plan and then builds an image prompt from that plan. It generates the infographic, reviews the result, and it revises it, and then it saves the outputs for evaluation. That's one of the most important things, is the reviewer. There's an observer model that it plugs into. We should look at the system details, which we are using GPT 5.5. I just wanted to use the most advanced model for all of this, just to ensure accuracy and the best possible result. You definitely could use a less capable model for this, absolutely. It would save money. It would, but I like being able to do this for the project. And yeah, it uses GPT image 2 for the image creation model. That is one of the most important things, because the text capabilities in image 2 is why all of this is possible. It pushes the frontier of being able to create accurate text in your images. So it makes Infographic Genie possible. And then, as I was talking about, the vision model, it uses 5.5, that is the reviewer model. It reviews the infographic and provides suggestions on how it should work next. Moving on, this app builds from my milestone 3, which did create the full workflow in an actual workflow that did work, and recreates it in the app here with the JSON plan. It defines the content and layout. We'll be able to see how detailed the JSON is, and then it also saves that for further review and makes a scorecard. So I really just want to get right into it. I also include a how to use this app in case somebody's using it, but I'm the creator, so I can give you a full tour. The best inputs for this is pasted text, which we will be using a random article. Literally, I just found it. This is a live demo. It's like, you know, those iconic Apple live demo, or Meta with, do you see their glasses, their AI glasses that the Wi-Fi wasn't working, of all things, and the glasses were awful. But they muffed their launch, their live demo launch, but I'm sure my model will be able to perform. My internet is just fine. So this is a new, I have not seen this article before. I have not run this article before, but we are going to try it with pasted text. This is going to be our, what we will use. Other sources that you could use, I have included an upload section here that includes a, honestly, text really works the best, is the only thing that reliably works. PDFs really don't work in the future. That is definitely something I would want to improve. Or you could use one of my samples. This is excellent. I have many different types of media content, and it produces excellent infographics for each of those. I will be providing images. I will be providing the outputs for each of those in my project, such as a recipe, a tent instructional booklet of how to set up a tent, splashdown article it's about the Artemis 2 mission and their splashdown and the process of that. It's very cool. A textbook section. You could do it for your textbooks to make it more visually pleasing, or the learning experience, and then trampoline video I got from YouTube, took the transcript and turned it into, that's honestly the weakest performing part of this, is turning transcripts into an explanation infographic of the video, because it's like a comedy video. It doesn't keep really any of the comedy. It's very sterile. But as you can see, when you select one of these, it creates a profile for what you put into there. It puts all your characters, lists all the characters, and it detects that it is a recipe. So that is one of the cool things about it. And then we get into the generation progress down here, which we will see working in just a second. It is currently in demo mode, so we can run the demo and see how it works. So for this, we can run the demo. Oh, it does need something in here to run the demo, but you get to see the demo. The demo is this. It is how the panels are supposed to work, the structure of the whole app, and you just see the basic things about the observer comparison down here. And I think it will generate JSON plan. It doesn't make anything unique for this. I think this is just in. Okay, remove this from the video. Okay, as you can see, it has run the demo. It is a very basic layout. It shows educational infographic source material. It is just basically what I've put in here to use as a demo for this to show how the output is going to look. And then obviously you see the observer comparison, which is very cool. You get to see your scorecard there. And then the JSONs for each. This is just a demo, but this is how the app is laid out. And then you get to see the 6 panels as they are split up for further review. This also works. You're also able to make it into a square, aspect ratio, or vertical. Okay, you can also make a vertical format. That also works in here, or go to auto, and then auto will send the information to the system and it will decide how it plans it, but it always goes to wide by pretty much a default. So that's how it goes. And yes, that is all of the basic setups for the app. Now in the next section, we will get into the non-demo mode. So I'm gonna have to take the screen off and put in my API key. It's just an easy input right here. And yeah, I'll see you in that part. All right, time for the real test of Infographic Genie. In the previous installation, I have explained the context. I explained why I call it Infographic Genie, gave a little bit of a description to each of these parts, demonstrated how each of the inputs work, explained how the outputs work, how they are saved, how they are generated into a JSON, how that JSON is also being used on a basis of an observer model that compares and then refines into a next generation revised infographic. And now I'm going to be switching off demo mode. I've input my API key, and I have decided that I'm going to be using this article. This is a live demo. I have not tried this article before, so we're going to see how it works out. But I just got this off of Apple News. I have just done a Control-All and copied the text, and it's as simple as that. And you put your text in here, and looks like everything is good to go. So let's generate this infographic. So it begins running, and as you can see, I've used emojis to track the progress of how the pipeline is running. At first, I was confused on where the process was at. Sometimes I would think that the app had crashed because it takes so long for you're generating 2 infographics, you're generating 2 images that are complex, and you're running through the plan. The JSON hasn't even been generated yet. So you're able to see that using the emoji, and it gives a little log here. And then this also shows the past generations that you've made. So just a quick review, this uses GPT image 2. The vision model is the observer model that checks the work. It breaks it into 6 panels. Image 2 makes all of this possible because it's the cutting edge of image generation and text generation. So this is why this is all possible. And now to get into my presentation, because this is only, there we go. And the first image is beginning to be built. The JSON has been generated, and we got to get into the presentation because I want to explain how the outputs work, because outputs are generated all at the same time. So those will all be generated at the end. And yeah, let's get into the presentation on this. I have created this presentation using ChatGPT in order to preserve my credibility and transparency. This was generated using source material that I had previously generated. I made this infographic that uses a previous output and all of the artifacts from that previous output. So I've pasted all of those into ChatGPT, and it took a little bit, but it created the presentation that I will be reviewing because it enables me to review the notes and review the artifacts that have been produced by this work, and I can elaborate on certain points that I have built this app around. So we're still working on the first generation, so let's jump into this. So to begin, this was a generation I made off of a text prompt that is a recipe for lemon garlic chicken rice bowl. And it's one of the wonders of this app that it is able to incorporate all of the different ingredients and makes it very visually appealing. It keeps all of the safety notes and all of the different things. This is the final output right here. But let's see all of the outputs to put together that is required to make this final output. Like I said, the source material is a text file for a recipe, and the goal that's in the system is that a student should be understanding how to cook this, or how somebody should be able to cook this, and it grounds it in it tells the model to use the source facts only from the text. So that grounds it. And then it executes a pipeline that goes through making the JSON creation plan. That JSON is used to build an image prompt with all of those specifications. The first image is generated. A vision observer reviews that, looks at each of the 6 panels, and the revision is directed into another JSON and another prompt that is sent to generate another image. And then the revised infographic is the final educational image, and a scorecard review is produced that you can review, see how it compares, and if you like one image compared to the other, you can download one or both. Okay, looking at the saved artifacts, it produces 21 saved artifacts altogether, different JSONs, the 6 panels, the 2 images, all of this stuff. But these are some of the most important. These are the actual artifacts that are used in the pipeline. We start with the diagram plan JSON, the image prompt that is created from that. There is a prompt package, the first diagram that is generated, the observer review, the revision directives that are then sent, and that is made into a revised diagram. Then there is a final observer review that creates the tile accuracy JSON that compares the different values, and yeah, you get to see that 6 tile goes into the plan, the tile plan. So getting into the actual Python pipeline that is going on, it loads the source, it creates the JSON plan, builds the package, generates the first image, observes, creates the revision directives, generates the revised image, and a final review is created. I already went over this, but that's just a quick overview. Next, in the JSON planning, in instructional structure for this specific. Now, how the JSON planning actually works for this specific example, it obviously takes it as a recipe, it breaks it into ingredients, you start a workflow. You start the workflow is how it describes it, as preheating the oven, coat the chicken, do the rice, vegetables, roasting in the sauce, rest, slice, build a bowl, puts all of this together, it plans the fields, and I should really demonstrate this in the JSON, the actual JSON that is for this. So I'm gonna do that now because it's kind of weak without it. Tile layout plan, vision directives, revised, image prompt package, infographic. I don't even think this is the right one. Go to time. And then cut all this out and then paste it back in. I don't know if this is from an old one or yeah, this is an old image prompt, diagram plan. Yes, so this is what we're looking at. So related to this slide, I want to go into a little bit more detail because this slide honestly does not cut it for the amount of detail that goes into the plan, but it plans very specifically all of these, and this is the tuning for the recipe, where it breaks up each of the different parts of the recipe. You don't want to have the chicken instructions with the for vegetables section, so it does the for rice, for vegetables, breaks all of those up, and then it creates a workflow steps. That's what it means when it starts the workflow. It chunks it into different sections. This is seen more clearly when you're looking at the code, or when you're looking at the JSON output of how the model set up this, and you can see all of how it is setting all of this up here. And then here you can see each of the tiles, how each of the tiles are being set up individually. Here are some of the required source claims exactly from the text that is pasted to ensure accuracy and grounding. There's forbidden content, so I think, yeah, do not change ingredient quantities. Do not change ingredient quantities from the listed text. I think that's good. That's a good thing for safety. Don't include, acid into the instructions. And then it has all of the instructions seen here. So that is the whole JSON for that, and then it creates the image prompt using each of the exact specifications, reduces them down to what is exactly grounded in the text, and creates the organization that turns into each of the tiles. And then it creates a prompt package that sends this to the model to create the first diagram, which was that, which has a different style from the ending version that we saw. And let's dive back into the presentation, because we have each of the different parts, which is what I love about having the context of the AI creating this presentation, because it puts the observer review right here. And it's great because it gives the notes. It says the revision priority is 10 out of 10. This is huge for what I've created because it's like there's something really big wrong, and it sees that the timing and servings are wrong, which I think is the cook time and the prep time. And we can see in the next version, the cook time is 25 minutes compared to 30 minutes. So I think that's kind of a big thing. I think it probably got confused with the different instructions for the different things cooking at different times, and it makes a more accurate add chicken to the same baking sheet, leaving the space between the pieces that's actually in the instructions, and you can see that revision was made, and the revision priority is less. The score has improved. You can see the benefit of the JSON that creates the scoring for each of these and creates a final report. And this is what the final report looks like if you were to turn it into a more beautiful presentation style. It is very helpful for the model because it actually puts a priority on how much it should be revising it. And in future versions, that would be important because you could have more revisions and really accurately tell the user how the observer can improve the next image. It's one of the biggest parts of this project. So we'll go past that. We'll look at why the tiles help. The tiles help because it gives it a source of, it honestly gives it a source of grounding because it can be reproduced in a lot of ways. It can be more, it really increases the quality control of the targets that you're putting into the model, and the crop has been done to really cut it up and more granularly look at the derivatives of what has been output and use your model to look at each of the images that are here, and this is how what each tile is responsible for. It is very clear about the roles of the tiles and gives more structure to what you're producing. So yeah, we'll move on from that. And there's some other safety things that I've added. We did a section on safety, which can be related to the AI breaking out of the lab, but it can also be for giving bad information, like poisoning people or not cooking for long enough. This is the type of thing that should be caught by an observer model. Observer model should be everywhere in how we're working, ensuring accuracy, grounding, and human health, honestly. So this is where we're at. We have a future roadmap. Future roadmap for this project is big because I definitely want to include a RAG-based architecture into this. After learning about it in class, I've learned that it's a paramount thing to use to have accurate information, and in something that's producing info in an infographic, it is critical that you're using up-to-date info on your topic, and that you're not just using images or diagrams that are not actually accurate to what the actual thing is. People would get confused. Additionally, more observers could be used in order to focus on different roles, such as factual observers, spatial observers, readability observers, and a safety checking observer. All of these are very important, as I described, for safety and accuracy and grounding. And then, a future roadmap, you just have to say that human approval should be always used for the final output. It should always be human guaranteed. I've also added that you should improve the user interface in order to be able to make multiple diagrams at a time, really allow people to be creative with what they're creating, and more clear export options because the export options are not very clear in this app. Furthermore, use a separate model for the scoring dashboard that can be a specific corpus that is, I wrote this in here, but it's talking about using more exact data on how a image should be scored based on the expectations of other outputs, other scores that I have given them rather than the model giving the scores. I would make a corpus of how models should actually score things and what things are good or bad, aside from actual grounding and accuracy things. And yeah, just in summary, we have gone over what the app goal is and how the source works. We've gone through the Python pipeline and what the outputs are. We've looked at a first image that was generated compared to the observer scorecard and how that revision directive process works in order to make a priority list of what it needs to change, and then gives a final revised infographic, and then a review of the 6 tiles in an evaluation system, and looks at the scorecard with that. What this app does is it deploys an application that meets the what this deployed application does is that it meets the requirements of using generative AI to solve a problem. This solves the problem for students that want visual information. This solves the problem for people not wanting to read long articles and getting the text out of them. The most important technical contribution is the reproducible 6-tile structure combined with the observer-driven revision. I definitely believe that, because that is one of the most fundamental parts of AI being able to assist us, is being able to have a corpus of information that it can base off what is factual and what is not, and use its ability to direct that. And then a closing message from this presentation. I wrote all this, so I'm just going to read it line for line. In this project, my goal was to push the boundaries of what AI is capable of at this moment, combined with my technical understanding and skill level. The results of this are a project that strives to create and reproduce educational infographics from text input with a fundamentally structured approach to reliably produce safe, trustworthy outputs. All final infographics should be visually pleasing and informationally accurate. To this end, improvements can be made specifically using RAG architecture to ensure grounding and accuracy in order to follow a more finalized and finely tuned architecture that focuses on safety and completeness in the final output. Overall, the version that would be ideal is essentially using more observer models to check the work, break the 6 tiles down even further into more derivatives, and analyze them for accuracy and visual aesthetic. Thank you. Alrighty, so how about we check this final output? This is what we've all been waiting for. Everything has gone through the workflow. Let's check it out. Oh, it's great. It's awesome. It looks like it used some of the RAG ability, because that is the most recent, that is what the logo looks like. And this is awesome. This is really cool. I don't know if this is the actual stadium images. It might be. In a final version, it would literally look like this. It would literally have the real images included in there. It has Mexico, Canada, it has mosaics talking about all of this. And this is just the first image. Let's see how it got revised in the next. Boom. Okay, it took out some of my favorite features, unfortunately. But you can download either of them. So that's nice. And then we can look at the observer comparison. Now that we've learned about it, the final score, it improved it all overall. So maybe some of those changes were regarding accuracy, which is good overall. And we can look at the different scores, the big change, the source fidelity. Probably, I don't know, maybe looking at the images that were generated there. I honestly really like the first infographic here. Revision priorities, safety handling, it improved it by 5, so I'm not sure how big of a safety deal it was made. Pricing pressure, I'm not sure what the safety emphasis was on. But of course, you can look at the JSON and see why that was. And then we see the broken up. Yeah, you can look at the JSON here and see the details of how it was set up and scored. You can see the issues. Details are incorrect. The plan for June, Mexico City, but the infographic says 3 p.m. So yeah, that would be a big thing. And yes. And then final review. You could also look at that, but we shall continue. And accuracy reviews. This is, once again, what we have seen from the previous JSON, and we can look at the final report where it gives a specific FIFA related final report. It gives you the exact same artifacts. It gives you the first observer review. This is produced by, the model and is used in the final output, and you see all of the final saved output paths. I'm very proud of this project. I really like the direction that this idea heads in. This is a fundamentally meaningful project to me because I am a visual learner. I like seeing things visually, and really this is just cool. Mexico, Canada, United States. It's just great. It's a really cool use of AI, and I've been really grateful of the things that I've learned in this class. Thank you to Bellevue University, and yes, thank you for watching.